Greetings and welcome back into the Center of Being space. I am back for another installment on Conversation and Dialogue today. Today's a Saturday at the dojo, so for me it is a project day when I'm able to project it. I delight in myself, or as I like to call it on my page, I delight in yourself projects. And so that's what I consider DIY to be. Do it yourself is delight in yourself. It's a space in which you really investigate passion areas, areas of intellectual, spiritual, and physical curiosity and manifest in the present. And so that's what I believe the do-it-yourself experience is about. You really are delighting in your many undiscovered secret talents. And so that's what I'll be doing in and out throughout this day. But one of the things that I wanted to come on today and segue into, and there'll be lots of, I believe, video with me in this particular getup as I've been filming throughout the day. So I don't know where this is going to fall in the series of things, but I do want to have this conversation, right? And so I guess this is going to be a vulnerability vibe posting, right? So about 30 minutes ago, I had to have one of the more challenging and difficult conversations of my parenting life. One that I could not have ever estimated being necessary, because there's no way to, when entering into this game of parenthood, know anything about what it's going to look like on the other side when you're dealing with adult people who are your children. Okay, so I've made two people that walk in this world, too. And I don't have children, dependent age children anymore. I have adult children. My children are one is newly turned 18, and when I say newly, no more than a few months ago. So he is still in that in-between space of child-adult. And I have a quarter of a century child who is in her own stage of growth and delayed growth. You know, both are in this weird and interesting intersection of moving from childhood spaces and childhood spaces with me as their parent into adult spaces, and us sharing a space as two adults, as adults with each other. And so over the last, I would say, 2 months, my son and my daughter have been going through their own challenges. My daughter is maturing a child. She is at her 6th month, almost 6.5 months of being pregnant. My grandson is due soon. And I'm excited about that. So that's the phase of life that my daughter is in, and she finds herself here back at home with mom for a variety of different reasons. And I'm excited that she's here and that she's allowing me to support her and journey with her as she matures a pregnancy. It's a sacred time in life. I believe it's a sacred space for women, and I feel honored and excited and humbled and protective of her while she's in this space, right, of being pregnant. And then I just again feel the power times 2 of the fact that she's in a space maturing a pregnancy and willing to do it here with her parent, because no matter the circumstance with the father, as adult women, we can make choices on how to mature our pregnancies. It is the one power that we have, is that we are the vessel that carries the life, and while we carry the life, we have a power over what that situation looks like. So the fact that she is sharing herself with me, I consider to be an honor, because she didn't have to. She could do a multiplicity of things. So she's home, And then my son is, like I said, newly turned 18, and he's in that space of life where he's ready to go off to college and start off his independent venture. My son is a queer and questioning young man, and so he's also in the space of identifying who he is as a queer identified young person, and I am extremely supportive and protective of him and his journey. It is a beautiful thing when a mother is allowed so much access to her children. It means that they trust me, and I by no means want to discourage their trust or insult their effort and independence in any way. In fact, I do my best to restrain and regulate myself so that they're able to have the larger space of breath in the room. I am their mother, and I require as their mother that they operate with me with an absolute modicum of respect. It's absolute. It's not a minimum requirement. It's an absolute requirement that my children respect me. And it has not been an easy requirement to maintain, but it has been one that is fundamental in the way in which I child rear and the way in which I nation build. Respect is fundamental. My children know this. We have battled in various areas as they were children. All children are going to test, and my children definitely have tested me over the years in different capacities. My daughter was willing to test me more physically, but she is testing her representation. I am a woman. She came across me in the spaces as she was moving into womanhood and needed to know what my resiliency and consistency looked like. And I had to reflect that back to her. And it wasn't always nice. It wasn't always a good time. It wasn't always fun. There's been a lot of pain, definitely a lot of growth, but a lot of hurt and a lot of things that are not on the happy side of the rainbow when it comes to parenting and when it comes to familiar relationships. My daughter and I have been through quite a bit. I think that's why I'm so excited that she's willing to share this vulnerable time with me, because there was a point where I didn't think we were going to ever be in a space to share a moment like this by her choosing or her will. So I'm excited that she's home. But like I said, respect is tantamount to any relationship being healthy, productive, and positive. And that includes with your children, your help partner, your mate partner, your business partner, your parents, your, whomever it is that you are relating with. Respect is a requirement. And so what is this about? Well, like I said, today I had to have one of the most challenging conversations with my 2 adult children that I've ever had to have, and one that I wasn't expecting to. And what was it about? Have you guessed the topic? Have you guessed the topic? Can you imagine what the topic was about after what I just said? Respect. So what I've noticed since my children have been moving into adulthood is that they are expressing, which I believe fully in my heart they should, and I hope I stand as a space where they're able to do that. They have been expressing feedback. They have been expressing their own intelligence around their childhood. Let me say that again. My adult children are expressing their intelligence around their own childhood. Just like there is an FBI and a CIA, and these are investigative authorities within our government. What they are about is intelligence around certain activities. My children are expressing their intelligence, those things that are covert and known only between ourselves. They're expressing their intelligence about their childhood experience. And I'm going to be honest, not a lot of it is a happy expression. Some of it is coming out snarky and snappy and full of loaded, unspoken words. There's little microaggressions, bumps, and when I say bumps, physical, like, contact bumps. Nobody's knocking me out or anything like that. But my son, who is a boy, not a boy, my son who is a man and has a man's body and has a man's ability to express, is expressing in a way that I think is very natural. I don't feel any space of condemnation for the fact that he is showing up in his adult male body. My challenge, and I believe I will want to be fair to myself, my challenge is in how to receive it with some boundaries, right? So that's the conversation we had to have today, not just with him, but with my daughter as well. So over the past few months, both of my children have been expressing to me what I would call lingering issues from their childhood. So my son last week brought up to me that every time something goes missing in the house, I jump to the most severe outcome. Something's missing from the house. Somebody has robbed the house. Somebody has taken something from the house. Somebody has taken something from me. And so that's just how I feel, when things get to going missing. And when I'm talking about missing, I'm talking about missing. I'm not talking about I forgot where I put my phone type missing. I'm talking about but the money was right there on the counter and now it's not type missing. Or the cords to the electric device were just plugged into the wall and now they're missing. And everybody in the house talking about they don't know where nothing is. I don't know. I ain't seen it. What? There was a cord? What? There was some money on the table? What? There was whatever it is, and don't nobody know where nothing is. So my immediate response is, oh, okay. Then we got somebody stealing from the house. And this is a house that is fluid in terms of friends and family are welcome here. I have adult children in my house, and so their adult friends, should they show up, are welcome here as guests of my children. But not everybody is somebody that I know. And so when stuff gets to going missing, whether it's been misplaced by me, someone in the family, or not, yes, I do jump to the highest conclusion: theft. I now know that me jumping to this conclusion bothers my children. So my son brought it up first. Oh, Mom, you're always jumping to the next conclusion. Every time something comes up missing, you always talk about somebody stole it. Instead of looking, it's always that somebody stole it. You always, he was just, expressing himself. And I giggled at first because it's kind of funny and it's true. And there it is. Okay, so we move on into the rest of the week, the rest of the day. There were a lot of little snarky comments made by the young man throughout the week. Why I may or may not exercise, me completing projects and or not. The dojo is full of projects that are absolutely incomplete. So anyone who is in a space of get it done, Shira, get it done, is going to have a problem with the fact that I have about 6 projects going at any one given time, and none of them are going to be done. That's how my brain works. That's how my creativity works. I am a tinkerer, and I tinker constantly in my areas of interest. But I see, not but, and, because that's my nature, and my nature is impacting and affecting my children. And I see that it gets on my children's nerves that I'm not finishing projects, because my son brought it up quite a bit, that he needs me to just go ahead on and get at least one thing done. Okay, so that was that, and that's been the week with him. Okay, get it done, do this, do that, and do this, and do that, and do this, and do that, and get it done, and why you never, and you never. And it's been said to me so much in the past several days, you never, well, you always, and you never get things done, and you never finish, and da-da-da-da-da. Shit got on my nerves. And I'm pretty much overhearing the mantra. Pretty much as my son is over watching me not get shit done, apparently. Okay? So then yesterday we're having our habitual, or what do you call it, our regular family night, and I love it. My daughter introduced to our family the series Pose. Not that my son and myself were not aware of the series that is Pose, but it was a series that she had watched, that she had enjoyed, and she really wanted to share the experience of watching the show with her mom and her queer identifying brother. So we, for the past several weeks, have sat down together every evening around 9 p.m. and we watch an episode of Pose together, and it's been a wonderful experience, because watching them have dialogue about the issues that Pose addresses in the series have provided me and my family with an opportunity to have some of our own dialogues about a variety of issues connected to sexuality, connected to family, connected to intimate relationships, friendships included. Pose has just provided a soundboard, not a soundboard, but has provided a springboard for myself and my adult children to have these adult conversations, which I'm not sure we would have been inspired to have with one another, other than me as a mom pushing. I don't know that they ever were going to sit down with me and have a conversation about some of these things that we're talking about. So kudos to my daughter for creating this opportunity for us, right? So yesterday, we're sitting down and we're preparing to watch Pose, and my daughter, we've been having a good time back and forth, sharing memes on TikTok and whatnot. We have a pretty light relationship. Things can get a little heavy, but it's pretty light for the most part. And so she comes in, she sits down, and she makes a comment about something. I can't remember what sparked it or what we were talking about, but we were talking about something funny, and then it segued into this whole conversation about how I respond when things are missing in the house. I always go to the far off space, I always go to, the reckless space of saying that somebody's stolen. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know, your brother was just saying that. And she's like, then she insisted, yeah, Mom, you always do it. And then it was, more of that same thing. Yeah, I'm going to continue this in just a moment.